So how is it that these shadowy groups of nonprofits that hide behind their nonpartisan status to rake in millions of dollars, how is it they have all the money to sue? So I dug into that, and what I discovered is that there's a loophole in our law here in Kansas. So, and this is kind of the second issue that's in the court. If you're running for public office, whether you're running for dog catcher, school board, secretary of state, or president of the United States, you are not allowed to take $1 of money from a foreign national. It's not 1 cent. However, because it's not illegal in the state of Kansas, if you want to campaign for or against a constitutional amendment, you can take as much foreign money as you want. And when we dug into this, we discovered that the ACLU, they hid behind this organization, they called it Kansans for Constitutional Freedom. And then they campaigned against the Value Them Both Amendment in August of 22. They took $1.6 million of the $11 million that they spent, and this is just what we know about, 1.6 million of it from the Swiss billionaire who's not even an American. He's a foreign national. He contributes to these constitutional amendment campaigns to try to make state constitutions more left-leaning so that the Supreme Courts can overturn the will of the people. And so I thought, well, golly, let's fix that. So we passed a law. I carried it on the floor and we passed it to ban foreign money in constitutional amendment campaigns. Because the Constitution is our most fundamental document. I mean, it's the law on which all the other laws are built that we pass in the legislature. And I think that it should be decided what's in that fundamental law by Kansans, not by foreign nationals. So we passed that law, and you will be shocked to hear that the ACLU immediately sued us. But they screwed up. They screwed up because they sued in federal court. And, you know, you never guarantee you can always get a left-leaning judge, but we've already got case law on this. When I was working on this bill, I worked with the Secretary of State of Ohio, and we modeled our bill after their bill, and he actually testified in my committee in favor of this bill. And interestingly, not one of these groups from the Axis of Ballot Harvesting even showed up in my committee to oppose the bill because they knew how ludicrous they would sound on video saying that they want foreign nationals writing our Constitution for us. So they didn't even show up to oppose the bill, but then they sued it in court to try to block it. So I was really, really concerned because that bill was supposed to go into effect on the 1st of July. And as you know, as we just talked about, there's the constitutional amendment for judicial selection, but there's also another constitutional amendment on the ballot. It's an amendment that I sponsored with like 46 co-sponsors this year, including the House rep in the room, to make it clear in our Constitution that only citizens can vote in the state of Kansas. That's going to be on the ballot in November. And these organizations, they want to rake in millions from foreign billionaires and then keep us from choosing our own Supreme Court and keep us from preventing foreigners from voting in our elections. And so I was really, really worried on 1 July that the law would get blocked. And they went to a federal court. They were asking the judge to enjoin the law, which means basically stop it from going into effect. And if they had been successful, they would have immediately taken a $1.6 billion check from this guy and spent it all buying up all the airtime before there was actually a decision on the law. Because once the money's spent, there's no way to, figure out where it came. Well, thank God, we got a good constitutional judge who listened to the arguments and told them that they don't have a leg to stand on, because we have centuries of legal precedent in this country of legislatures, whether it's the Congress or state legislatures, limiting what foreign nationals can do in this country when it involves elections and our politics, rightly so. So he refused to enjoin the law, so that law is going into effect. There will still be a hearing on it at some point, but the guy sort of tipped his hand that law is probably going to stay in effect.